The night was supposed to be quiet. No wind, no movement, no warning. Yet beneath the moonlit sky, something massive was already moving through the fields. At first, it was just a sound, a deep, grinding rustle cutting through rows of crops like a blade through cloth. Then came the smell of torn soil, crushed roots, and destruction so fresh it felt alive. Farmers know this sound. They fear it, because once it begins, there is no stopping it. Wild boars don't arrive loudly. They don't announce themselves. They invade with intelligence, force, and terrifying coordination. One moment, a field stands untouched. By morning, it looks like a war zone. Acres flattened, crops ripped from the ground, months of work erased in hours. And this isn't happening in one country. It's happening everywhere, across rural farmlands, from quiet villages to massive agricultural regions. Farmers are facing an enemy that doesn't retreat, doesn't fear fences, and doesn't learn mercy. Wild boars are not just animals anymore. They have become an unstoppable force, aggressive, adaptive, and multiplying faster than anyone imagined. What makes them even more dangerous is not their strength alone, but their intelligence. These animals memorize patterns. They test defenses. They return stronger, smarter, and in greater numbers. Traps fail. Fences collapse. Night patrols become useless when the enemy learns your habits better than you know theirs. For farmers, this is no longer about crops. It's about survival. Families who depended on the land for generations now stand helpless, watching destruction repeat itself night after night. Insurance can't keep up. Authorities arrive too late. And every failed attempt to stop the boars only teaches them how to strike harder next time. This is where the battle becomes difficult. How do you fight an enemy that never sleeps? How do you protect land when the threat comes silently, from every direction at any hour? How do you combat wild boars that have turned farmlands into their feeding grounds? Tonight, we step inside that struggle, not from headlines, not from theory, but from the ground, where farmers make impossible choices, where mistakes cost livelihoods, and where one wrong move can turn a defensive effort into disaster. This is not a story of hunting. This is not a story of animals versus humans. This is a story of a difficult battle, where intelligence meets instinct, where landowners are forced to adapt or lose everything, and where the line between control and chaos grows thinner every single night. And once this battle begins, there is no easy way out. By the time the sun rises, the damage is already done. Farmers walk their fields in silence, boots sinking into churned soil that looks more like a battlefield than farmland. Deep hoof marks crisscross the land. Irrigation lines are ripped apart. Corn stalks lie twisted and broken, roots torn clean from the earth. This isn't random destruction. It's systematic. Wild boars don't just feed. They dominate. What makes this battle so difficult is that wild boars adapt faster than the people try and stop them. Traditional scare tactics fail within days. Noise cannons, flashing lights, even guard animals lose their effect once the boars learn there is no real consequence. These animals communicate. When one survives, the entire sounder learns. Farmers soon realize fences are not barriers. They are invitations. A weak point discovered once will be exploited again and again. Metal bends. Electric lines are pushed through. Entire herds charge together, using sheer mass to overwhelm defenses. And once inside, they don't rush. They take their time. The financial toll is crushing. A single night can destroy thousands of dollars worth of crops. Replanting costs rise. Yields fall. Insurance claims stack up. But payouts never truly cover the loss. Worse still is the psychological strain. Farmers stop sleeping. Every sound outside becomes a threat. Every night feels like waiting for an attack that may already be happening. Authorities offer solutions, permits, controlled removals, limited assistance. But the scale of the invasion makes control nearly impossible. Wild boars reproduce at a staggering rate. A single sow can produce multiple litters in a year. Remove a few, and the population rebounds stronger within months. This isn't a problem you can solve slowly. That's when desperation turns into innovation. Farmers begin studying the enemy. Trail cameras are installed. Movement patterns are mapped. Feeding routes are analyzed. Instead of reacting, they start predicting. They learn that boars favor cover, that they follow the same paths to conserve energy, that they test before committing. Knowledge becomes the first real weapon. Some build reinforced barriers deep into the ground. Others design smart traps that target entire groups instead of individuals. Timing becomes critical. One mistake can scatter the herd, making future control even harder. Precision replaces force. Strategy replaces panic. But even with preparation, the danger remains real. Cornered boars charge without hesitation. Injuries happen fast. Equipment fails. Weather shifts. One miscalculation can put lives at risk. This is not a controlled environment. This is raw, unpredictable conflict where every decision matters. Still, the fight continues. Because surrender is not an option. Every successful defense saves more than crops. It protects families, livestock, and the fragile balance of the land itself. Native species suffer when boars take over. Soil erosion increases. Water sources are contaminated. The damage spreads far beyond the field's edge. This is when farmers understand a hard truth. This battle is not about winning once. It's about holding the line every single day. And just when they believe they contain the threat, the boars return, smarter, bolder, and more aggressive than before. The hardest part of the battle is yet to come. By now, farmers understand one brutal reality. There is no final victory against wild boars, only constant resistance. The conflict stretches far beyond damaged crops. It seeps into daily life, reshaping how entire communities live, work, and think. Farmers begin scheduling their days around night patrols instead of rest. Families adjust routines. Children learn early why fences must stay locked and why fields are no longer safe playgrounds. What was once peaceful farmland becomes guarded territory. The methods used to combat wild boars grow more sophisticated, but also more demanding. Coordinated operations replace solo efforts. Neighbors share data, sightings, and movement patterns. Trail cameras are checked obsessively. Weather reports are studied not for rain, but for how wind direction might carry human scent and alert the herds. Every detail matters. Smart traps become a critical tool, designed to capture entire sounders at once. These systems require patience and discipline. Triggering too early means failure. Waiting too long risks losing everything. Farmers learn to think like the boars, cautious, observant, and ruthless when opportunity strikes. The psychological shift is exhausting, but necessary. Yet even the most advanced tactics come with risks. Wild boars are powerful animals. When threatened, they don't retreat, they attack. Injuries to farmers and workers are not rare. Tusks tear through clothing, skin, and muscle with terrifying ease. Emergency rooms in rural areas know these injuries well. The danger is constant, and fear is never far away. Environmental consequences add another layer to the crisis. Boars destroy native plant life, uproot saplings, and erode soil that took decades to stabilize. Wetlands suffer as water becomes polluted by constant disturbance. Ground nesting birds lose their habitats. Small mammals disappear. What starts as an agricultural issue becomes an ecological disaster. Governments attempt intervention, but solutions lag behind reality. Regulations move slowly. Funding is limited. The boars don't wait. Every delay gives them time to expand into new territories, pushing the problem further and wider. Control zones shrink. Infested zones grow. Despite everything, farmers refuse to give up. They adapt again. Some invest in technology once reserved for military or research use. Drones, thermal imaging, advanced GPS tracking. Others form organized response teams trained specifically for wild boar control. Education spreads. New generations of farmers are taught that coexistence requires vigilance, not complacency. There's also a moral weight to this battle. Responsible control means avoiding unnecessary suffering, protecting non-target species, and using harvested animals responsibly. For many, this isn't about destruction. It's about balance. Meat is donated. Waste is minimized. The land is respected, even as it's defended. Slowly, in some regions, damage decreases. Fields begin to recover. Crops survive longer. Losses shrink, not eliminated, but reduced. These small victories matter. They prove that resistance works, even if it's never absolute. But the threat never fully disappears. Every rustle in the dark, every broken fence, every unexplained track in the soil, they are reminders. Wild boars will keep pushing. Farmers will keep standing their ground. This is not a temporary crisis. It's an ongoing struggle shaped by intelligence, endurance, and willpower. In the end, this battle is not about humans versus nature. It's about responsibility, about protecting food systems, rural livelihoods, and fragile ecosystems from collapse. It's about choosing action over surrender, even when the odds feel overwhelming. Because if the farmers stop fighting, the land loses far more than crops. And that is a price no one is willing to pay.